to ask the Ukraine to investigate Joe Biden?
No, actually, I didn't. I asked the Ukraine to investigate the allegations that there was interference in the election of 2016 by the Ukrainians for the benefit of Hillary Clinton, for which there already is a court finding.
You never asked anything about Hunter Biden. You never asked anything about Joe Biden.
The only thing I asked about
prosecutor.
Joe Biden is to get to the bottom of how it was that Lutsenko, who was appointed, dismissed the case against Antak.
So you did ask Ukraine to look into Joe Biden?
Of course I did.
You just said you didn't.
God, I'm getting a headache.
Just roll that. Can we just roll that on?
All right,
it's
long
really,
day here. All right, it's hardly the first time Rudy Giuliani has gone on TV to admit something that Trump supporters had been trying to bury. There was Stormy Daniels.
Having something to do with paying some Stormy Daniels woman $130,000, I mean, which is going to turn out to be perfectly legal. That money was not campaign money. Sorry, I'm giving you a fact now that you don't know. It's not campaign money. No campaign finance violation. So
they funneled it through the law firm.
Funneled through a law firm, and the president repaid it.
Oh, I didn't know he did.
Yeah.
Okay, that's an FEC violation right before an election. Yeah, exactly. Of course it is. And Andy's like,
what did you just say?
You just wait.
Are you sure? Are you sure?
And then you say,
all right, but wait, there's more.
I didn't know that.
Like, yeah, what are you saying? Do you know what's coming out of your mouth, Rudy?
Yeah, here goes more.
But wait, there's more. There was the time Rudy suggested that the president did not collude, but couldn't say the same about the campaign.
No.
This is a good one.
I never said there was no collusion between the campaign or between people in the campaign.
Yes, you
I have no idea if I have not. I said the President of the United States. There is not a single bit of evidence the President of the United States committed the only crime you could commit here, conspired with the Russians to hack the DNC.
By the way, Rudy also was running around saying how bad the Mueller report was going to be, that it was going to be devastating before it came out.
Privately, yeah.
Unfortunately, there is more. There was the time Rudy told the New York Times this about his planned trip to Ukraine. Quote, "We're not meddling in an election. We're meddling in an investigation, which we have a right to do." And added, "There's nothing illegal about it. Somebody could say it's improper. And this isn't foreign policy. I'm asking them to do an investigation that they're doing already and that other people are telling them to stop. And I'm going to give them reasons why they shouldn't stop, because that information will be very, very helpful to my client and may turn out to be helpful to my government." There you go. You're meddling in the election.
Your dramatic reading reminds me of Scarborough
I was trying to sound drunk.
We used to have dramatic readings of Arnold Schwarzenegger. So that was
seriously.
good.
What time are these interviews? Because if they're around the same time
madness,
every day,
and I don't want to say the clever madness, but the calculated madness of when it is going south, you put gibberish on the air, not to confuse people, but just it's all of a sudden it's this noise that, if not as distracting, is. Almost make you lightheaded.
I could read you books of past governments from decades past that actually used this type of nonsense, where you throw gibberish out at the population over and over again. Nonsense, lies. Then you admit, then you wrap it around a couple of more lies. And by the end, the supporters of said public figure are so numb to the truth.
Yeah.
They do not recognize it. And there's a certain regime where you go back and read, I'm not going to say
early 30s.
No, that's offensive.
Okay.
You usually, you get these writings from like 1938, 1939. It wasn't the early 30s, where they literally talk about, but you could say this about you could say this about Erdogan. You could say this about what's happening across the globe, in Russia. You can talk about what's happening in Hungary, what's happening in the Philippines. This is what strong men, this is what autocrats do. They keep lying, they keep shooting out gibberish, they admit, they deny, until people are so numb to the truth that it just doesn't matter. So Rudy's just admitted something outrageous. We're laughing. and other people are, their supporters are going to go, yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. When, of course, it would, any other president would be impeached that afternoon.
And Rudy added in a tweet after that television appearance last night that the Biden family made, quote, billions off of China. So that's just to your point, just throw something else out there. But what did Donald Trump and people like Rudy Giuliani know? That their hardcore supporters now believe what they hear from the president's mouth, and certainly not from the media, because the president of the United States has trained them that this is all fake news. So Rudy Giuliani can get away with the supporters for saying these things. But let's be clear again about what's happening here. The personal attorney for the president of the United States is fishing around Ukraine for dirt on the opponent that the president fears most in the 2020 election. That's what's going on.
And the Washington Post has editorialized that the president of the United States is saying, or has said to Ukraine before this past week, if you do not continue the investigation, then we are going to withhold military aid that you need to defend yourself from future invasions from Vladimir Putin.
And you'll have the president say things like, I didn't do that, I might have, and then it will be like Turnberry or the different places where military, used his resorts, and it was just or Vice President Pence, just a recommendation or just a mention.
But this is a moment in time.
Nancy
Pelosi, Adam Schiff, Jerry Nadler, Elijah Cummings. This is the guards have opened up a lane.
Yeah.
Put the ball under and run off tackle, and you will score.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I want to get to Reverend Al. We'll get to him on the other side.
Okay. Coming up, it's